Hi again, fellow unlicensed thinkers. Today I want to cover 5 ways that we've been shown that our minds have more power over reality than we think. But before we get into that, if you could hit that like button for me, please. I can't quite reach it from here. Thank you very much. So our minds are extremely powerful, but we've been taught, been conditioned to believe that we're not as powerful as we really are. However, there's a lot of things out there that do show that we have amazing amounts of power over reality, be it our own or reality in general. The first one, everybody's pretty familiar with this one probably, is the placebo effect. So instead of given a medication, you are given a sugar pill or something to that effect, and you get better. Well, there's no reason that you should get better unless your mind is causing you to get better. You are controlling what's going on in your body and causing yourself to get better. So placebo effect is one, but I'm going to expand on placebo effect just a little bit more because it's important to note that the placebo effect works in your pets too, and in children and babies who don't really even understand what's going on yet. But most interesting to me is that it works with pets. So the question here is, do the pets associate going to the vet with getting better, and therefore it is their placebo effect and they are the ones causing themselves to get better? Or do we associate taking our pet to the vet and them getting better, so we are providing something to the animal or even the baby that is causing them to get better? Interesting question. Don't have an answer, but it is just a neat little thing to expand upon the placebo effect, because we usually think of it as being more personal, but it is something that I think we can put onto others in a, shall we say, consensual way. But let's move ahead to number 2. Another topic that absolutely fascinates me and shows that we have more power over reality than we think we do is multiple personalities. Now, multiple personalities are incredibly strange, but they tell us so much. You can have one personality that wears glasses and another personality that can read perfectly. So the problem is not the eyes then, right? The problem must be something else. People can have long-term injuries in one personality, like a hurt back or something like that. And the other personality won't exhibit that. They won't feel any pain. They won't have any idea that that injury exists. This can be even as severe as like someone with a hunched back or scoliosis or something like that. But more than that, there's people who have diabetes and require insulin in one personality, but in another personality, they don't. So that's pretty interesting, right? Are they really diabetic? Are they not diabetic? Is it the body? Is it the mind? Well, that tells us that the mind is what is in control of the diabetes, either causing it or fixing it or whatever the case may be. But very interesting, multiple personalities. I'd highly recommend, there's tons of videos on that on YouTube. You could spend hours in that rabbit hole. Number 3 is taking a car to the mechanic or something similar to that. We've all heard the trope of you take your car to the mechanic, and when you get there, you turn it on for him to show him what the problem is, and the rattle went away. And you're like, what the hell? It's been doing it all week. Why isn't it doing it now? And this probably is very similar to the idea of taking the animals to the vets, because to fix a car. So that's what our brain says. Brain says, go to mechanic, car works. So we get to the mechanic and the car works, because we're not really thinking about that additional step necessarily or anything like that. That's not the energy that we're putting out into the world. So our mind, in essence, is fixing the car. Now, I have a personal story about that is not about a car, but is actually about the microwave in an apartment. And so my microwave started having these really weird problems, and it wouldn't register that the door was open, and it was just being really erratic. Like the light would flicker, it was being really stupid. So naturally I do what anybody does, and I get a hold of maintenance and I say, hey, can you come take a look at this? So they come over, and as soon as and I mean, it was bad. It was bad. Like, it was basically unusable. But the maintenance guy comes in, Robert, he's a really cool guy. And he opens up the microwave and he tests it out, and it works perfectly, flawlessly. And I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe I need a loony bin or something. I don't know. But so he leaves, and this microwave basically works again for the next year. And so then it starts having these problems again. I call him up again. I say, hey, can you come take a look again? It's being weird. And again, he comes in and it works perfectly. Fortunately, unfortunately, I don't know. But about 2 weeks later, I ended up calling him again because it completely stopped working. And he came in and I showed him and it was completely done working. So I was happy to see that I wasn't completely insane when it came to the microwave. But that was another, like taking a car to the mechanic. That's another situation where I had an expectation that maintenance guy fixes appliances. And so maintenance guy comes, appliance works. Who fixed it? Me or the maintenance guy? I don't know. I don't care. It worked for a year. I have a new microwave, but that's, But you see what I mean? Somewhere in there, the mind took over and started creating or adding to reality. So number 4 is, in experiments, they've actually primed people to consider themselves lucky or to consider themselves unlucky. And the people who consider themselves lucky were actually luckier. So what they would do is they would prime people one way or the other, and then they would put them into a setting, and in that setting, they would drop some money on the floor. And the lucky people found the money almost every time. The unlucky people, the people who were primed to not be lucky, almost never found the money. I mean, so again, that's pretty interesting because the money was there, but their reality didn't include it, or it did include it based on how they were primed. So that one's a little bit short, but we'll move on to number 5. And number 5 is, shall we say, speculative, but it's also a very interesting thought experiment. And that has to do with atoms and particles that make up everything in our reality. And so the question here is, do the scientists that are breaking apart these atoms, breaking apart these particles, are they the ones creating the next level down? So because they have an expectation of there being another level, of there being something that makes up an atom, of there being something that makes up the particles that make up an atom, and the particles that make up the particles that make up the atom, and so on. So each time they break something apart, split it apart, they, in this theory, are creating the next level of reality, because there's an expectation that there's going to be a next level, that this is not the final base level of what things are made of. Their expectation that it goes another step further causes another step to be created and added onto reality. Again, this one's very speculative, but very interesting when you consider it with the other things and the other ways that we control reality, such as that placebo effect, or when you look at these multiple personalities, or the idea of taking your car to the mechanic. Whether or not you think of yourself as lucky, whether or not you think of yourself as successful, as the type of person who could get rich, or the type of person who is poor, or whatever it might be. It's just very interesting to put all of these things together and to really understand that we do have more control over reality than we give ourselves credit for. We are actually very powerful and can fix, change just about anything, so long as we understand that we can do that. We can start doing that intentionally. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Be sure to hit like and, of course, share the video. Have a great day.